Hi, mixtresses and mixters. This is mixtressrae, and you're listening to Mixtress Video. You're watching Mixtress Video. So I'm testing out my camera again today. I am going to try to do kind of a hangout session, pick a pile reading, sort of unintentional ASMR. I am testing my new camcorder with my Tascam mic hooked up, which is a more sensitive kind of ASMR style mic. I don't know if I have the settings really perfect yet, so you know, don't be mad at me if this isn't perfect. I'm gonna adjust the shot just a little bit. Oh, I don't have the best tripod. Okay, so I'm basically, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set up for a pick a pile reading, and then I'm going to do the pick a pile reading. So you can kind of, you'll have extra time to pick like which pile you want, because you'll see me kind of, I mean, you won't see all the cards, hopefully, but you'll see me sort of setting it up and figuring out which pile is which. And essentially, you're going to have oracle cards from each of these decks. And I'm using my three most recent tarot deck acquisitions. So these will be, you'll have, basically the pile choices will be either Desert Illuminations Tarot, Stunning Tarot, or Mystical Moments. Okay, let's get going. So what I'm thinking is that with Mystical Moments, you're going to get sort of a more gentle reading. With Desert Illuminations, it's just going to be sort of a funky RWS style, pretty straightforward reading. And with Stunning Tarot, you're going to get a little bit more, I'm not sure how to describe, a little bit more of shadow work, maybe, kind of reading, a little bit deeper dive, a little bit weirder kind of thing. That makes sense. So every pile is going to have a goddess card. Every pile is going to have an animal spirit card. Every pile will have an Amenti card, which is one of the 42 principles of Ma'at. Every card will have, like, this is kind of my basic oracle deck, Halloween tarot, or Halloween oracle, sorry. And then practical advice, I usually use the Everyday Witch as a practical advice card in my pick a pile readings. If you've been here before. Okay, how do I want to do this? I'm not sure like how sensitive this mic is, so I'm kind of talking a little bit hushed because I don't want this to be a bad experience. But I'm really excited because my new camcorder, I can hook my Tascam mic directly into it, so I don't have to edit the sound in later. And I usually use my Tascam mic for my podcasts and my radio show, but I don't usually use it for videos because I'm just lazy and I don't like to have to edit in the sound later. Okay, let's start by clearing a space for the piles. So we're going to pick the goddess card first for each pile. And she's going to, I think I will actually show the goddess for each pile. So you'll be able to pick your pile based on both what tarot deck you want and which goddess shows up for you. Which goddess wants to come forward for the people that choose pile number 1. Which goddess wants to come forward for those that choose pile number 1? We have Psyche. Her keyword is persistence. Which goddess wants to come forward for those that choose pile number 2? Which goddess wants to come forward for those that choose pile number 2? Let me know what you guys think about like this, the quality, because I am really experimenting with my new camcorder right now. How do you feel about the video quality? How do you feel? Okay, this is for pile 2. Yamoha. I think it's Yamoha. Release is your keyword. Which goddess wants to come through for pile number 3? Sekhmet. Healing. Okay, and I think I'm going to pick my tarot decks based on the goddess that came forward. So, I already know that Stunning Tarot is going to want to work with Sekhmet. Although I kind of want to pick the tarot cards last. So I'm going to just set this down next to this. Psyche, persistence, Yamoha, release. I'm going to say that Desert Illuminations wants to work with Yamoha. And Tarot of Mystical Moments wants to work with Psyche. So I'm just going to kind of set these back, and then we are going to choose our other oracle cards. I saw a video recently of someone doing this where they were showing the picking of the cards for the pick a pile reading, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that sort of meditative moment of being there for the actual choosing of the cards instead of starting the video with the piles. I kind of like that. So, totally copying off that person. I think it was the channel was called Tarot and Chill. Okay. Which Halloween oracle card wants to come through for Psyche pile? This one. Which oracle, Halloween oracle, wants to come through for Yamoha? This is the one for Sekhmet. Okay, well, that was easy. Okay, Everyday Witch. I'm going to shuffle this like riffle style a couple of times because I've used this deck in the last couple of days. So I just want to make sure to clear any energy that was already in this deck before we start with the piles that are for you. Okay. Which everyday witch wants to come through for Psyche pile? Which everyday witch wants to come through for Yamoha? Which everyday witch wants to come through for Sekhmet pile? Then our Amenti Oracle. I like to use this deck as kind of an ethical / moral, because it is the 42 principles of Ma'at. The sound is going in the red a little bit when I'm shuffling, so I'm afraid that that's going to be a little bit loud. So I'm going to try to just do overhand shuffling, because these cards are a little thick, so they definitely make a big sound when you riffle shuffle them. Which principle of Ma'at, let's say it that way, which principle of Ma'at wants to come through for Psyche pile? Which principle of Ma'at wants to come through for Yamoha pile 2? Which principle of Ma'at wants to come through for Sekhmet? Okay. Now we will choose our animal spirit card. I'm going to shuffle just like a little bit over here. Maybe that won't be as loud. I'm gaining like big respect right now as I'm doing this for anyone that ASMR videos in general, like anybody that does those, because you really have to be careful you don't make any loud sounds if you have a very sensitive microphone, which is kind of the point. Okay, which animal spirit wants to come through for a pile of Psyche? It's this one. It's this one right here. Which animal spirit wants to come through for Yamoha? Got a preview of that one. Which animal spirit wants to come through for Sekhmet? I love how, can you tell these cards are getting like yellowed on the edges? Like I haven't had a lot of, this is actually my oldest Oracle deck. Now let's choose the actual tarot cards to go with each one. This is our Sekhmet pile with Stunning Tarot. What messages do we have for those that choose the Sekhmet pile 3? What messages do we have? Okay, definitely these last two cards at the bottom. And this one right here. Okay. And next, what messages want to come through for the Yamoha pile and Desert Illuminations Tarot? Tarot of Mystical Moments, and Psyche, and pile 1. I love the process of picking cards because it just, for me, I don't know about you guys, but it feels so effortless. Like if you start thinking about it, then you'll think too hard about it, you know? It's like, but if you really allow yourself to really just zone out and pick something, it's just kind of a beautiful process. And for the most part, you just can't go wrong with that unless you're thinking too hard about it. Okay. So I'm going to put the goddess on top. And then we're going to light some incense and a candle. And if you hear my stomach growling, I don't know why it is, because I just ate breakfast like an hour ago. It's just processing the eggs that I ate for breakfast, apparently. So I apologize, because with a sensitive mic like this, you can probably actually hear it. All right. And then the candle that I've been using lately is this funny little egg candle. Glittery little egg candle. And it's yellow, so I like to use yellow candles for clarity. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to use this. I'm not sure exactly what this oil is. My mom gave it to me. It smells like, kind of like lemongrass for sure. But I'm going to use that to sort of anoint our spell candle here. I think I just broke the wick. I hope this candle still works. If not, we'll just get a different one. I'm going to rub a little bit of this on my hands too. Okay, now I'm going to try... Oh, we need incense first. But I'm going to try to light a match. And I'm a little nervous because I don't know how loud it's going to be to light the match, but I want you to be able to hear like the sizzling sound. So I'm going to try to light the match a little bit away from the mic. Here, I'll just hold it way out here so you can see it, but it's actually kind of far away from the mic over here. I just broke the match. Yep. I was afraid of that because I broke it. Okay. We're going to do that again. So if you like match lighting videos, you're going to get to hear at least 2 matches. There we go. And we're setting just sort of like a general intention for clarity and to bring you the messages that you need right now. So I'm thinking that this is going to be, obviously you can see what the title of this video is before I even know what it is. But I think this is going to be sort of a spring pick-a-pile reading is what I'm thinking at the moment. Okay, let's get going. It's a very small flame, but hopefully it'll be okay. Just let me know if it goes out, guys, okay? Sometimes I don't notice in videos when a candle goes out. Okay, let's get into the piles. Okay, we're 20 minutes in. We are going to start with pile 1, which is Psyche. Finding a secure place to set these piles down. Okay. Like move the incense a little bit out of the shot because we want to make room for all of our piles here. Okay, so our tarot cards, do we have room for them? I feel like there's a glare happening, so I'm going to try to like prop that a little bit on the incense burner. Hopefully you can see that okay. I'll bring the cards up closer when we're talking about them specifically. So here's your tarot cards. Here's your animal spirit. Your Amenti Oracle card. Your Halloween Oracle card. We're going to put that here actually. And then okay, let's start flipping. I feel drawn to flip this one first. So we have hibernation and regeneration. Getting a glare. There we go, that's a little bit better. Hibernation and regeneration. I think that this one is an earth card. Yeah. This particular deck, I really like it because it has 10 cards. It's almost like it has suits. It has 10 cards for each element. So it's a 40 card oracle deck. And it's mass market, so it's really affordable and it's just beautiful. I don't have the Everyday Witch tarot deck, but and then your like sort of, I think of Halloween Oracle as kind of a general oracle deck. So your general oracle card is Lady de los Muertos, acceptance and equality. And then your Amenti card, your principle of Ma'at, sort of the moral and ethical focus for you today. Those of you that picked pile 1, the Psyche pile. I speak positively of others. And then your animal spirit is Sea Serpent. This is also an elemental deck, so this one is actually a, the Sea Serpent is a spirit card, so there aren't very many spirit cards in the deck. And then let's see your tarot cards. We got the Page of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and Death. Okay, so I can already see we've got hibernation and regeneration, acceptance and equality, death, cups and wands. Persistence is your keyword with Psyche. Let's pull her up. And I'm also going to, I'm going to read from the guidebook when it comes to the Goddess card, because this is a really short and sweet guidebook, so I like to do that with this one. So, origin of Psyche is Greek. Goddess of the soul, Psyche is here to lift you back up so that you may persist. Remember that the ability to stick to something will be your greatest advantage. So I feel like there's like a challenging thing that's going on right now, particularly with your connection to others. Like you're feeling very emotionally vulnerable, and you kind of have, right now you're sort of in a moment where you have to take a step back from the situation to figure out what you feel about it. With the Page of Cups, it's very much like it's an overflow of emotions, and it reminds me of like when I first started going to therapy, like the main thing in therapy is they ask you how you feel about things, and at first I had no idea how to answer that question. So the Page of Cups reminds me of that, because it's like the Page of Cups is somebody that's having a lot of emotions, but they may not yet be able to identify what they are, and they definitely don't have very good control. They don't have very good emotional control. So I'm really seeing that your issue at the moment is you're having a hard time integrating an emotional reality. You're having to sort of take a step back and hibernate so you can regenerate, so that you can integrate this new information. And it has something to do with a big change in your in like your passions in life. So it might be that you're like getting ready to make a career change, or you're getting ready to go to school. Since this reading is for a lot of different people, that might be true for some of you and not others, and vice versa. But I feel like there's a reluctance to change. There's a big transformation happening, but you are having a hard time accepting it. You're having a hard time integrating this information. And there's Psyche, I think, is here to let you know that like this is a process that is ongoing. It's okay that you didn't have an immediately good reaction to this particular change. It could even be that someone close to you recently has revealed something about themselves that you're having a hard time dealing with. And this Psyche card is showing up to say this is a big deal. This is a spiritual awakening, both for you and for that other person, if that particular aspect of this reading resonates with you personally. That this sort of reluctance to accept change and accept what has happened, I feel like there's just kind of a fake it till you make it thing happening right now. Like this I speak positively of others is kind of a calling out of you're going to find yourself in a situation where you might want to speak unkindly of someone close to you. And because you're having a hard time integrating this new information about this other person, or one thing that I think of, like when people are gossiping, whenever you personally are super annoyed with another person, a lot of the times, for me anyway, if I can take a step back from it, I realize the reason that I'm so annoyed by this person is because something about them is reflected in me. So I think there's an aspect of that going on too, where like there's some big change going on, and your emotional reality feels unstable right now. So it's okay to take some time to integrate this new information, but just remind yourself in the meantime not to go too far off the deep end of releasing the tension about the emotions surrounding this situation by like gossip. And I'm all about gossip, but I mean, like, in this sense, just be mindful of how you speak about others. Make sure that whatever you are saying is coming from a place of acceptance and equality, and acceptance of yourself for how you're dealing with this, because there's some emotions surrounding this situation that you don't fully understand yet. So there's a definite call to like spend some time with yourself in this hibernation and regeneration period. Really take that time and space to integrate the changes that are happening right now, to identify the emotions that you're having surrounding the whole thing, and to remind yourself that you're in this ace space. So you're in this sort of beginning of whatever this new change is. And it's okay. Just be just be patient with yourself, because it's going to take time, and it's going to take persistence, and it's going to take continual looking into the emotions surrounding this situation. Okay, hold on. I want to grab the Animal Spirit Guidebook. And look up sea serpent real quick, because I'm not sure what it's supposed to symbolize, other than it is the throat chakra, right? No. Okay. Because it's blue, it makes me think of throat chakra, but it is Svadhisthana chakra, deep within the pelvic bowl. This chakra is known as our center of creativity and desire, and is associated with the water element. Svadhisthana, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, translates as in her own abode, indicating this chakra is the home of the divine mother, or Kundalini herself. It's a sacral chakra, represents the energy of expression, whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire. So healing emotional wounds and expressing desires. So that kind of deepens this whole thing, especially in conjunction with the Ace of Wands, because I would say that that's a very like sacral chakra kind of card as well. So there's something about, it's almost like you've just realized that your sexuality is different from what you thought, or that someone else has revealed to you something about their sexuality, and it affects you so deeply that you're having to really take some time to reflect and figure out how you feel about it, and figure out why your gut reactions to this revelation, whether it's a revelation within yourself or a revelation that someone has expressed to you. This is a real time of figuring out why your initial reaction was whatever it was. And to be patient with yourself, because it is going to take some time to integrate this information. Okay, I think that's all we have for the Psyche pile. And this is a soul deep thing for you guys, because Psyche is a soul goddess, and you have, spirit element right here. It's a soul deep thing. So it's a big transformation. So be patient with yourself and be honest with yourself about how you're feeling, because I think the first step is actually identifying what those feelings are. Okay, let's move on to pile 2, which is the Yamoha pile. Release. So you are going to this spring be releasing something. That's very exciting to me. Kind of figuring out what order these cards go in before I even pick them up. That's what I want to do. Okay. This is your animal spirit. I'm going to put the animal spirit card here. I'll put your Everyday Witch card here, your Minty, and your Halloween card. Okay. Okay, so for pile 2, your animal spirit is Dragon. So another spirit card. And that's the image that's on the cover of the guidebook too. I think that's the last card in the entire deck, if I'm not mistaken. And then your sort of, I think of Halloween Oracle as kind of your basic general kind of oracle card. You got Owl, Wise Seeing, Wise Action. And then for your Principle of Ma'at, which is kind of your ethical and moral focus for your pile, I do the best I can. I really love when I see this card, because it reminds me to forgive myself for the fact that, I do have very low energy days where I get absolutely nothing productive done. And this card always reminds me that I'm doing the best I can, and the best I can is good enough. And then Everyday Witch, I sort of think of as a practical advice, like something you can do now to change your energy and to work within the energy that this reading is telling you. Learn from life. So this is about having life experiences. And it's an air card, and we see that this is a person that has spent a lot of time inside studying, and now it's time to go outside and see how much of those studies actually resonate in your personal life. Because, you know, you can read books all day long, and what works for someone else that they've written down in a book may not work for you. You have to find your own answers, ultimately. Okay, let's see what your tarot cards are. We have 8 of Cactus in this deck, which is 8 of Pentacles. I love this card so much. 2 of Cups. 2 of Jugs in this deck, and then 10 of Cups. Okay, so I can see that what we're dealing with in your pile is primarily surrounding family, and specifically family as far as chosen family. So what your concern is chosen family. Your particular chosen family, I feel like you're very established within it. You know, you have done a lot of the hard work of cultivating friends and family, chosen, especially friends and family. You've spent a lot of time cultivating those relationships and integrating them into your life. I'm going to read from the about your goddess card. Yamoha is Yoruba in origin. Surrender your weary thoughts to Yamoha, and she will carry them away for you. Connect with the loving spirit she is washing over you right now, and feel nurtured when you release what isn't working for you. So I feel like you have a very established family, but there's also some aspects, not necessarily like someone in your life you need to break up with, because, you know, I'm really not seeing that. I'm seeing a lot more harmony than anything else here. I'm seeing a lot of circles, a lot of spiritual well-being and happiness. So I think this is more a release of, it's like there's like some little tweaks that could happen within your chosen friends and family. There's like something, maybe there's one person in your family that is kind of like in a bad place and is kind of poisoning the family environment at the moment. And I think this is almost for them, maybe, this whole learn from life. I mean, this reading is for a lot of people, so for some of you, you might be the person that needs to hear this, but for a lot of you, I think this is also, there's somebody in your family that's kind of bringing the mood down in some respect, or has some negativity going on, or something like that. And I think the reason for that is because they need to learn from life, basically. And there's a certain level of the rest of the group needs to let go of some control over this person and let them find their own answers, because this person is different. Their way of coping is not the way that most of the rest of you have learned to cope in life. And it doesn't mean that that's wrong, but they don't know what their way is yet. So like I'm specifically being reminded of in my own family right now. My nephew is the youngest in the family. He's 16, and he really is going through his own very specific journey. And the rest of the family wants so badly to help him. And of course, we've all been through, that time period, but we haven't been through it in the specific way that he's going through it. And so our advice to him is not going to help, because he has to learn from life. So there's a certain level of taking a step back and letting him make his own mistakes that needs to happen. So it's up to you. You know whether or not you're the person that needs to make your own mistakes, or if there's someone else in your friends and family group that it would behoove everyone to know that this person needs to carve their own path. And so just release them. Release them. If it's a situation like this where it's a kid and you feel like you need to really hunker down and create better discipline for this child, this is a moment where that's not going to help. That's going to have the opposite effect that you want it to have, because every person is different. Some people respond really well to kind of a more disciplined environment, but some people, it's the opposite. It's like, if you tell me what not to do, I'm going to do it simply because you told me not to do it. When you have someone like that, you have to take a step back and release them, because those are the types of people that literally have to make their own mistakes. And I know we all just want to protect them, because we've been through it. We know, but remember whenever you were that age, were you listening when someone said, when someone was like, well, when I was your age, blue, blue, blue. No, this person needs to make their own mistakes. And there's an acceptance on both sides here that if it is a situation where, so I keep going back to this sort of because I'm connecting it to my nephew. If this is a younger person, both the authority figures, the parents, the guardians in the situation have to accept that they're doing the best that they can, and they're not responsible for every single thing that this young adult goes through and experiences. But also those guardians need to also accept that this kid is doing the best that they can. And the best that they can right now doesn't at all look similar to the best that, someone 3 times their age can do right now. Somebody that's already gone through those things and made their own personal mistakes. We have to accept that everyone's doing the best that they can. And it's going to take time, and it's going to take work. This is what this person that needs to learn from life is going to have to go through. It's going to have to go through this sort of vision quest alone of honing their own craft and their own path in life. Wise seeing and wise action is sometimes taking a step back and letting someone find their own wise seeing and wise action, because you can't create a life based on what people tell you. You can't create your life based on what you read in a book. You have to experience life for yourself. You have to find your own path. Let's read about dragon. I believe it's the last card. No, unicorn. No, cosmic egg. I don't know. I'm totally wrong. Okay, so this is a solar plexus. This is the third eye, right? Is that solar plexus? Is solar plexus third eye? No. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. Third chakra. Subtle energy of the dragon lives at the navel center. Manipura Chakra. Manipura translates to the city of hidden gems, and behind its gates burns the fire of our transformation and digestion. The sages believe health of the fire at the navel center is what governs our ability to clearly see both the inner and outer dimensions, seeing one's most true self and balancing the ego. So there's a certain relinquishing of our own personal established egos to allow for growth of the people that we love around us. You know, that whole, if you love someone, set them free. You really have to. You can't control how another person comes to their own truth and finds their own personal path. That's what it is. This is a relinquishing of control in a loving way, because I feel like this person's going to understand how much you love them better if you let them make their mistakes. And if you're that person also, if your family is not going to release you, then you're going to have to defy them, because this is a reinforcement that it is okay to make your own mistakes. And yeah, it's a tricky thing, because whenever you are, and I'm not a parent, so I really don't know how awful this feels to see a kid really going through it. You want to just protect them. You want to put them in a bubble. I see that conceptually, but I've never actually experienced the weight of that. But it's hard. It's hard. But yeah, we do have to let it go to a certain extent. Okay, let's go on to pile 3, which is Sekhmet, and healing is the key word with Sekhmet. I also think of Sekhmet as being kind of like sacred rage, sort of like growth through allowing yourself to feel angry, you know? Okay, your Halloween oracle card is Spider, which is community and web weaving. Every time I see this card, I know that what we're going to be focusing on is kind of a really big picture, kind of an entire community. Our animal spirit card is Peacock. Learning to like express yourself in a larger community sense. Express your unique self in a larger community. Your principle of Ma'at is I offer words of good intent. So this is about being very mindful about the power of your own words, because words are spells, you know? Make sure that what you say is intended in the best possible way. That doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to accept it. It doesn't necessarily mean that what you say is actually good. But if you are mindful that it is always coming from a good space and willing to learn from your mistakes in the process, then that's the best that you can do, you know? Your Everyday Witch oracle card is Inspiration and Courage. So this is a fire card. So we've got fire here, air here. I would say Spider is earth, and offering words of good intent is very much an air thing. Speaking is very much releasing your thoughts into the air, so I do see that as air. Your tarot cards, I kind of want to pull the middle one first. Lovers. This is a beautiful Lovers card. I love this Lovers. Love this Lovers. It's one of the reasons why I had to get a hold of the first edition of this tarot deck. 10 of Pentacles. So that's an earth. We have air with Lovers and earth with Pentacles. For some reason, I'm really wanting to focus on your elemental. And then we have 8 of Cups. So that's water. So for the most part, what we're dealing with here is a lot of, is passion, you know? I see this community and web weaving mixed with Lovers. So there's, and 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is a very big sort of like healing ancestral DNA kind of coming full circle moment. Or 8, we have 8 candles. So this is kind of like an 8 of Wands as well. Spell manifestation. And healing, of course, with Sekhmet. And 8 of Cups. Okay. So there's a certain like... I feel like there's a lot of ideas coming through with this. This is... I feel like there's probably a lot of people that picked this pile that has sort of a community leadership role. Maybe in some cases you are a person that is an influencer. I kind of hate that word, the way that it's used in our current society, but you either have some kind of platform, like you have a YouTube channel, or you have an Instagram with a lot of followers, or you have a podcast or something like that. You very much have a voice in your community. But it could also be in a much more literal sense of like I keep thinking of one of my best friends she is like an actual community leader. She's on all these different boards and she's trying to make changes in a lot of different really positive ways within the small town community that we live in. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of opportunity for healing in that respect because inspiration and courage. So there's going to be an opportunity for you personally using the voice that you have in your community to really make positive changes, healing changes, a departure from the regular day-to-day shit. And it's going to take courage, and you might already even be inspired to make some of these changes. It's going to heal some major shit within sort of the matrilineal line in your family. Like, that feels really weird and specific, but hopefully that resonates with someone. And it's going to be about using your voice. It's going to be about speaking up and saying some of the things that you're afraid to say because you're afraid that you're going to say it wrong. But as long as you're coming from a good place and as long as you're willing to learn from people that let you know when you misstep, I think this is very much a moment of recognizing how much power your words actually have and using this particular moment as an opportunity to heal your entire community. I mean, this sounds big. Like you have the opportunity to really make a change in your community. So I'm going to read about Peacock. I don't know what order here we go. Peacock's going to be here somewhere. Inner beauty, compassion, and assimilator of anything. The beauty of the peacock is unrivaled. It's easy to think it comes from the plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outward indefinitely. This adept creature can assimilate or digest all experiences in life, so it does not harbor resentment, conflict, or past pain within its psyche. The peacock type is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of the self and others. When in balance, the peacock is confident and kind. When out of balance, you can't digest situations. And to bring more into balance, meditation on navel, whatever that means. So I think this is also just sort of reinforcing that you, not only do you have a voice in your community, but you also have a very unique voice in your community, and you are actually adaptable enough to roll with the punches. You're one of those rare, I feel like for a lot of you listening that picked this pile, you're one of those rare people that can get feedback in the comment section and not take it too personally and actually integrate. Sometimes you really have to, and I'm getting a little better at this, but sometimes whenever you read a comment, you really have to read between the lines. Like, okay, where is this comment coming from? What is this person actually trying to communicate? Because if you take their words at face value, sometimes you have to find their intent behind them. And a lot of the times, cruel comments, like the intent is to hurt you. However, a lot of the times, the people that are commenting the most hurtful things are the most, I mean, it's so cliche, hurt people, but a lot of the times it's coming from a place of they feel, it's coming from a place of just extreme pain. And sometimes you can look through the nastiness in a comment and you can make a true connection with another human being, which is what the Lover's card is all about. It's knowing yourself, and it's also making true recognition and connection with another person. So I just really feel like this is a communication thing. We're dealing with a communication thing, and you really have the opportunity to use your platform, however small it may be, even if you have a new YouTube channel and you only have 25 subscribers. Those 25 people can benefit from what you have to say, because what you have to say is very unique, and you are able to let things roll off your back, I feel. I mean, don't take on too much, but I think that your voice can really be used for healing. So this is almost like, I don't even know if I have advice except to say, keep going, keep trying, accept the constructive feedback, ignore the feedback that's going to make you too self-conscious to say what you need to say. If that makes sense. Like, I feel like whoever needs to hear this, you know what your limits are. You know the difference between a constructive criticism and one that is just trying to control you, because there are a lot of people out there that just want to silence you. So I feel like you know the difference between the ones that want to silence you and the ones that want their voice to be heard, and they want to feel more included by your speech, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of a learning curve with that. There's a big learning curve with that, actually. But as long as you keep offering your words with good intent and allow yourself to evolve and keep saying what you need to say is there. And for me personally, as a person that has a YouTube channel and a podcast and a radio show, and I'm autistic, it's still hard for me to find the right words to say out loud, to translate what's in my head to actually the thing that's coming out of my mouth. It's a hard translation for me, and I get it wrong a lot. Sometimes my gut reactions when I say them out loud can seem and are very insensitive. So you have to be willing to evolve, but also don't become so self-conscious when you hear the thoughts of others in your community. Don't become so self-conscious that you stop offering your words, because your words need to be said. Your words need to be heard. Okay, let's, I haven't done the Sekhmet reading here. Let's do that really quick. Egyptian in origin, lioness, goddess of destruction and healing. Sekhmet allows you the power of breaking things down in order to rebuild them better. It's time to do just that. She'll send you messages in your dreams about what will help you transform during your next evolution. Okay, I'm sorry to treat you special here, pile 3, but hearing that Sekhmet is going to send you a message in your dreams tells me that we need to pull a card from this. Altringa Oneromancy. Oneromancy is divination through dreams, I think. So I'm sorry I didn't do this with the other piles, but just the fact that Sekhmet is going to bring you an answer in your dreams tells me that I need to pull a card from this deck. The chasing. Okay, so the next time you have a dream wherein either you are chasing something or you are being chased, pay special attention to that and what that means for you. And I'm going to read from the guidebook too. Pursuit of what one desires or else being shown a path to follow can be as simple as following one's dreams or desires, or else a reminder to look for inspiration and a path in one's life, finding what ignites the fire within and is worth pursuing. So through you pursuing your own path, you will, and communicating to others as you are on this journey, it's going to heal others. It's going to be a tremendous asset to your community. So keep pursuing that dream. Keep using your voice. Yeah, I feel inspired by you, pile 3. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on my pick a pile reading. Let me know your thoughts on like the sound quality and the video quality and stuff like that, since I am experimenting with different setups using my new camcorder. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.